I am here today to answer my top 2 questions that people ask me ever since the beginning of time, since I was on TV in 2011. So, let's start with the first question, which is, how do you get signed as a paranormal investigator, or how do you get on TV as a paranormal investigator? So I can't answer this completely for you. I can only answer it from my perspective and what I have been through. So when I was on Paranormal Challenge, I was up really late one night. We had a ghost hunt, and me and my team in Denver, my old team in Denver, there was a tweet that was sent at 4 a.m. by Dave Schrader from Darkness Radio, and he was saying that he needed another team, quick status, someone that was in driving region to Arizona, and he needed them to submit their information right away and try to get a team for Paranormal Challenge. So to be perfectly honest, at 4 a.m. after an investigation, I was tired and I didn't want to get up. We had actually applied to Paranormal Challenge once before and never got a call back. So in my head, I was kind of like, do I waste my energy to get up? Should I get up? What happens if I don't? I'm going to be disappointed again. And finally, after about 20 minutes of negotiating with myself, I got my ass out of bed and I went over and sat at the computer and I emailed Dave Schrader our team's information, pictures, and how long we'd been together. And I linked all of our social media because at that time we'd been around for a while. So I actually went to bed, forgot about it. I didn't want to put a lot of energy into it because I didn't want to be disappointed again. So I woke up the next day and went to lunch with my mom, and about 1 p.m, I had a phone call come up that was a New York area code. And I knew I didn't know anyone in New York, so I decided to answer it, and lo and behold, it was the casting director for Paranormal Challenge. So it was not Zak Bagans directly, it was just the casting director for the show. He asked if we could do a Skype interview. I told him yes. We ended up doing a Skype interview. He had to submit the interview recorded to Zak Bagans, and then Zak had the final say on who was chosen out of the teams that they were submitting. And Zak ended up choosing our team, so it was like really exciting. It was so cool. The next 3 or 4 days, I got another phone call back saying that Zak had picked us and that we needed to head out to Jerome, Arizona. So that's what happened with us. And then we went and filmed. It was like a week-long filming schedule. And after that week ended, it aired. We filmed in July, it aired in September, so you do the math on that. And immediately after that, I started getting phone calls from other production companies wanting to hire me in paranormal. So from there, I've actually quit several paranormal shows, and I know a lot of people are going to look at me and be like, you're crazy, why would you quit a show? And I have a really legitimate reason. Because I worked on set with Zak, and because of the scientific research background I have with paranormal, I will only stay true to myself. I absolutely refuse to be a sellout, and I refuse to be fake. So, with that being said, yes, I have been hired several times, and I have quit several times with several different production companies, and the only reason is I am not a scripted person. I am not an actor. I did not go to school to be an actor. I have no idea what it's like to be an actor. A TV personality is different when you're engaging, especially as like a host. And a documentary film is also kind of goes along with it because it's rare, it's raw. That when it's happening, it's on the spot, and it's not something that's scripted unless it's a voiceover. That's different because it's done later. But these production companies that were hiring me, they were hiring me as a paranormal investigator, and it was a scripted show. I am not going to disclose which shows or production companies those are because I am a producer and I have done production, and I currently own a production company in LA, and so I don't ever want to burn any bridges with a professional relationship. Not that I would work for them, but I never want to burn a professional relationship, so I would never badmouth them. So as many times as you guys may ask, I will never tell you who they were, what shows they are. However, I will tell you that I absolutely refuse to do scripted work when it comes to paranormal because it is completely fake. And if you're going into a ghost hunting place and it's scripted, then you need to hire actors instead of paranormal investigators. And I'm sure, as you can probably imagine, there are quite a few out there that are scripted pieces of work, which means they are handed an actual script and they have to memorize it. And as they're in the dark ghost hunting, they have to recite their lines. And I do not believe in that. I believe you should be going to a real haunted location and getting real evidence, and everything that you see should be raw and in real time, and it should also be engaging with the audience so that they feel like they're there, which is why I started my channel on YouTube, which has all of the evidence on there is real. Nothing on there is fake, scripted, or unrealistic by any means. Nothing on my channel is fake, scripted, or made up by any means. It's all real raw, happening in real time, and all of the interviews are live on camera, just how Zak does it. So am I crazy for quitting shows? Probably, if you want to be famous. I'm not in it for the fame. I'm in it because I like paranormal investigating, and I believe that everyone should stay true to their self, whatever that means. And for me in particular, that means I'm not going to sell out and just go be famous and get on a show that ends up failing after the first season because it's scripted and the paranormal community knows that it's fake, so they're not going to watch it anyways. So it defeats the whole purpose of being on a show if it fails. Do I have advice for you as far as if you're wanting to get your team signed to a production company? Are you wanting to be cast by yourself for a show? You know what? I have submitted pilots and pilots and pilots and pilots and pilots over and over. The only way I can give you advice is using YouTube as your tool to get your face out there. Unfortunately, we're in a different stage of production and media, which is different now. YouTube didn't used to be as accessible as it is now. So now literally anyone can upload anything and have their own television channel, and millions of people can access it, whether they get to you or not. I would suggest you need to research how to use YouTube and the tools like tags, but that's probably your best tool, is getting your face out there with YouTube. And making sure that you always present raw, real, authentic evidence. Never fake anything, and especially with like using lines, if you pull something, there's all kinds of ways to fake stuff. Having someone dress in something differently, and you can use Photoshop to make them see-through. If you do any of that stuff, you're going to lose fans more than anything and quicker than hell, so I would not suggest ever doing anything to, damage your reputation. So I wish you luck. Look for casting calls if you're not available to do YouTube. In order to do YouTube, you need to have some good equipment. And I'm not just talking ghost hunting equipment. I'm talking also film equipment. Like the camera that I'm actually filming on right now is a Sony, and it costs like $4,000 new. Not everyone has that kind of money to go out, but you do need some sort of camera to start. So my recommendations would start with ghost hunting equipment, buy piece by piece. Start with the lowest price, which is probably like a digital recorder. Go up from there into like a millimeter, which you need the antenna function, which is like the $200 one. Just keep going up into Spirit Box. If you get the SP7, I think it's like $50 or $60 now. But if you get the SP11, I think it's $130. You're just gonna have to start saving up. That's literally what I did. I gathered piece by piece until I started getting into the more expensive film equipment, and I have now made a production studio out of it. So the next question I always get is, what am I doing in the future? So currently I do own my own production company. I do a lot of things other than paranormal just to stay afloat financially, and it's fun. I love film as well. I'm also a college student for film, so I'm going to school for that. So the next big question I always get is, what is Zak Bagans really like, and is he really that hot? I swear that's the only question I get when people realize I've worked with him and I was on Paranormal Challenge with him. Like, we expected, among most other people on camera, Zak is like in your face, very engaging, and especially the first few seasons, he is really provoking, and he's mean to the spirits, and get the hell out here, and if this is a portal of hell, why don't you come out of that hole and get us, blah, blah, blah. So I think we were kind of like, uh-oh, is he that, like, is he engaging? Does he, like, get in your face, that kind of person? Is he mean? Because he seems like he'd come across mean. He's kind of an asshole. And the truth is, no, he is not at all like that. And there's a reason behind that. I actually ended up finding out that Zak has severe social anxiety. So when he's around a lot of people, he's very quiet and withdrawn. But when he's filming, like what I said with doing documentaries, he has become that character of Zak Bagans, and he's engaging the camera as you would if you were a character. Not scripted, obviously, but he is the character of Zak Bagans, lead investigator of Ghost Adventures. So I actually got to have lunch with Zak, like, every day. We hung out as a group. It was super fun. super down to earth. I can't really, like, you'd think that we just talk paranormal, but like he wanted to get to know us on our lifestyle, and he just wanted to know how things were going and what made us interested in paranormal. He really wanted to engage and see what we were all about. And we did have a private lunch with just my team and Zach one day, and that was probably the funnest day because we just got to sit down like people, and it wasn't intimidating like producer. You know, he is the executive producer on set. Like, you should be intimidated by him, and it wasn't like that at all. It was very raw, real, and it was good to know that there was an actual person behind the persona of Zak Bagans' Ghost Adventures. So those are my top questions. Hopefully that answers some of those reviews for you guys that were wanting to know. So keep questions coming in, guys, and I will talk to you soon.